bring your military ID. You are a vet. You get a free meal. Nothing better than that, man. It's good to see guys giving the veterans some love.
There's no doubt about it. My father's a veteran, so.
Yeah, man. My dad, too. So good. We appreciate that, and we just want to let all the veterans out there know that. Let's get on with the show. Steve, now we're in the quarterfinals, man. And I got to tell you, I've complimented Commissioner Wygod many times during interviews we've done that I think his best move that he did as commissioner was when he realigned the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Got rid of this local stuff and got rid of the regional stuff and just made it like, let's match up the best with the best. And we've been getting a lot of good games out of it.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, because, when Long Beach Poly played in the Division II last year, that wasn't fair for those other teams that worked that hard, to get there. But now Poly's back in Division I with the other big teams, and I'm looking forward to a shootout on Friday.
We're going to talk about that here in a couple seconds, but I'm telling you, the division since they've done this, the teams are so well better matched up in that first round. Normally in the first round, man, it's a slaughter. Everybody gets slaughtered in that first round. And rightfully so. It's supposed to be that way. That's why they designed the brackets the way they do. But it's not like that anymore. It's a gauntlet.
No, it definitely is. I mean, you have to be prepared every week. There's no easy games. So I know from the Mater Days to the Boscos to the Corona Centennials to the Los Alamitos, everybody's going to be prepared to, to throw their best punch and try to get to that next round.
Well, those guys in Division I were lucky to get buys. Everybody, with the exception of a couple of teams, but they all pretty much got buys in that first round, with the exception of two. It was the
Jay Serra.
Yeah, Jay Serra in Orange Lutheran game. Orange Lutheran got in. But anyways, we're going to take a look at the scores right now. Larry, let's pull up the scoreboard from last week. We're going to take a look at just a few scores. We can't go over the 5,000 games in the first round, but these games are pretty good and pretty exciting. Let's start off with Orange Lutheran and Edison. This game was fantastic. I mean, Orange Lutheran had to come from behind to win this game, but it's good to see where good public schools can play head-to-head with good parochials.
Absolutely. I mean, Edison's program has been great since Bill Workman has been there. So they always had a lot of talent. They coach up their guys really, really well. Fundamentally sound, and they played a great game. Came up a little bit short, but they played a great game against Orange Lutheran.
Absolutely. I actually was trying to get out to see this game, and I just knew it was going to be a killer, and it came out to be just that. I believe this. Let's talk about the spread, tongue in cheek, because CalPreps does, they do give an estimate of who should win the game, and it's all computer.
Okay.
But the computer's pretty good. That artificial intelligence, man, better watch out for that stuff, because they got it right on. But they called this as a one-point game, and look where we ended up.
Absolutely.
Now let's look at what's going on underneath it. Olu faces St. John Bosco. Bosco just annihilated him in Week 9. Steve, when you have that kind of history behind you, what's that do to you when you got to face them in the playoffs?
Well, it could be a double-edged sword, because Bosco could be overlooking, Orange Lutheran, because they say, we beat them pretty good during the season.
They didn't show up.
But it's really, really hard to beat a team twice in 1 year.
Good team. Yeah, it is hard to beat good teams twice.
Yes.
And Orange Lutheran's a pretty good team. I just don't know if they can beat Bosco twice in the same season now.
Yeah, they have some good players, but Bosco's loaded.
Bosco's got depth.
They have a lot of depth. Jason Negro does a great job. Chris King, the defensive coordinator, he always has his guys ready to go. So Orange Lutheran is going to have to come with a really good game plan and execute, come this Friday.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. Let's continue on, Larry, with the next score of the week. And we have Chaminade San Clemente. This was another one that they said to be a 1-point or 2-point game. There we see at the bottom. CalPreps had it 28-26.
Wow.
Chaminade, and that was 27-26. I mean, that game was also fantastic. I don't know. That Mission League this year was pretty good. Everybody in there made the playoffs. San Clemente in the South Coast League, San Clemente Mission Viejo got in, but man, they just couldn't go any further against that Mission League, man.
Yeah, the CalPreps, we need that computer to help us pick the Powerball next time. That thing is pretty dang good right there. To get within 2 points, and it's a 1-point game. No, it was definitely. San Clemente, they're always, really, really coach really well. Coach really well. Every year in, year out, you hardly ever see a dip. But, to lose by 1 point to Chaminade, that had to be a really good game.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah, Chaminade's got it going on right now. Citrus Valley, Chaminade will face them in the next round. Let's continue on. Take a look at some other scores. Chaparral, Thousand Oaks. Now, Thousand Oaks, look at that, 10-0 going in, 10-0, and they dominated Ventura. But
absolutely.
they go down to Chaparral. Here's what happens.
Absolutely. I actually worked with one of the quarterbacks at Chaparral, Karan Tyler. If you're a hip hop fan, MC8, from Compton's Most Wanted is his father.
Oh, really?
So
all right.
absolutely, that's a little bit of history lesson right there.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, but Karan's a really good quarterback, and they played a great game. I mean, to put up 62 points in the first round of the playoffs. That's
Now look at our little tag underneath there. Chaparral 7-0, finished second only to Corona Centennial. I mean, I think after Chaparral played Corona Centennial, I mean, they're not afraid of anybody.
No,
they
not
already
at
seen
all.
the devil. They faced the devil down. They got beat, but they still faced him and lived.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell
It's
about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're playing with house money. You have nothing to lose. We played, one of the best teams in California, so I think they just went out and put everything on the line and played relaxed and got a great result. I mean, 62 points. Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. It just goes to show you what's going on out there, man. These games, and again, these are first-round games, but these are anomalies. You don't see, well, some of them were very close, but you don't see these big blowouts in the first round. But every now and then you sneak in. Here's another one. Almany finished last in the Mission League. They were 0-5 in league play.
Wow.
They finished 3-7 overall in the Mission League. But because of the strength of that league, I mean, they whip a lot of people in that league. Got Sarah, Chaminade, Sierra Canyon, Notre Dame, Amat, and Almany.
Yeah.
All of them have been CIF champions within the last, say, 12 years. They've all, been taking turns. Sarah mostly, and Sierra Canyon too, most recently.
Yeah.
But to see Almany go out there and dominate Temecula Valley. Temecula Valley was a big favorite in this game, and Almany just turned it on them.
Yeah, I mean, Alamany, when you're a private school, you're able to, recruit outside your boundaries of your neighborhood. So you're going to attract some really good players, especially, Alamany has a tradition of playing great football. And it's tough for some public schools to come. And even though, you look at 3-7, maybe Temecula Valley overlooked them a little bit, said, okay, man, why are we playing these guys? And, Alamany showed up and put up 40 points against them.
Yeah, 4-year losses were to, Sierra Canyon, Chaminade, Amat, everybody that's still in the play. Amat hung 70 on somebody this last week.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't want to put that up there. That was embarrassing. All
Definitely.
right, but you know what? It was a close game until the fourth quarter. They just blew them out. And midway through the third and then the fourth, they put their foot on the gas, did not take their foot off. Let's move on, but didn't want to promote that one. Here's another game. Beaumont was just a big, heavy favorite in this game, losing to the biggest dog I've ever seen in a first-round playoff.
Wow.
All right, that's hyperbole, but pretty close. In the top 1,000. And here we go. Lusinger 47, Beaumont 23. Lusinger had a rough go this year, man. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs.
Wow, I mean, Beaumont. I mean, there's a lot of athletes out there.
Yeah,
a
there
lot
is.
of athletes out there. Beaumont, San Bernardino, that area. So I mean, for them to come up on the short end,
Like that.
They only scored 23 points.
Yeah, there's a story to that game. There's something going on in the background.
I got to go back and definitely watch that game and see what happened.
Yes, indeed. All right, Larry, let's continue on. I think we have a couple more scores left. We have, there's another one that was a heavy underdog was, what do we have coming up here? It was Laguna Hills Eisenhower. I was thinking of Diamond Bar, but Laguna Hills Eisenhower. Eisenhower was, again, another big favorite. They were shocked by Laguna Hills.
Yeah.
Unbelievable on that one.
I mean, there's a lot of good football, around the Laguna, South Orange County area.
Yeah.
I mean, their Pop Warner programs are year in and year out really, really good. So, I mean, it's not really surprising to see, Laguna Hills, do well.
Yeah.
Because they play a lot of good competition, in their league. And
remember when they had Mike Jones, I believe it was, the running back? I mean, he won CIF that year for them. It was all him.
wow.
That runner, he was something else. I remember him. Of course, Eisenhower. Tons of tradition, Eisenhower, the Eagles.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, basketball and football.
That is a big upset right there. But, man, Laguna Hills is rolling on to the next round. Good for them.
Yep. Now, let's look at the bigger shocker, was the Diamond Bar game. That was one I was thinking about. Now, they're super shocked. That's what we have up there. Coachella Valley was supposed to win this game. Diamond Bar rallied 41-10. My Lord. Unbelievable score there. But, the Brahmas, they deserve it. They're moving on. Coachella Valley, it's just a tough loss for them.
Definitely.
Very, very tough indeed. All right, I believe that's all the scores, right, Larry? Would I leave anybody out? All right. So, Steve, looking at those scores, though, those were just some of the interesting ones, mostly because there was a lot of underdogs. that came out and won. You expected they were going to go home. They were probably just thinking, well, you know, we're going to play this one more week, and they come out and they're still alive. So it's interesting to always talk about those games.
Definitely.
All right, now we're coming up to the quarterfinals, and there are so many interesting matchups. We went around this last night and the night before, Monday and Tuesday, talking to different coaches in the area. So we'll have some of those coming up. Was it Malachi Nelson? We talked with him. He's going to USC. Talked to a lot of people. So we're going to run those as we talk about the matchups. Let's go to the matchups, Larry. Let's take a look at the first one we have, the battles. And let's go ahead and let's see. We got to pull. I put my paperwork down here. All right.
ML King. Yeah, against Western. Is that the first game?
No. We're
going to go. Okay, Mission.
Mission Viejo, Corona Centennial. This is a Division I game. Both are 9-1, as you can see there. Mission Viejo lost to Long Beach Poly. Centennial lost to top-ranked Mater Dei. You know, and this one's going to be a battle. It's almost like these two teams shouldn't be playing to the next round, but they're here.
They are. Both these rosters are loaded. You know, from Mission Viejo's side, quarterback Caden Samanza. He's going to be throwing to Mikey Matthews and Jackson Holman, he's a University of Arizona commit. And Coach Johnson, Chad Johnson, you know, came over from Bosco, and ever since he's been at Mission Viejo, he has had that thing rolling. I mean, some of the top players in Orange County has came out of his program, and you know they're coaching the fundamentals up, and I mean they can compete with anybody in that Division I level.
Well, this one's interesting for a number of reasons. I mean, just based on everything that's gone on Mission Viejo is a great team. Don't get me wrong; they're a top 50 team in the country. Centennial's like a top 10 team, you know, they're like number 11, 10, and I've seen several polls, and they're right there. I do think Corona will have a little too much for Mission Viejo, but this is a fantastic quarterfinal matchup. Again, I think this is the kind of things you see in the finals and the semifinals.
Yeah, definitely. Centennial, year in and year out, is absolutely loaded. You know, their quarterback, Izzy Carter, he has not thrown an interception this year. I think he has 22 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Wow.
Some of his receivers, Malachi Riley, C.J. Butler, Donovan Fappel, those are, you know, Izzy Carter's top targets. I mean, you know, Coach Logan out there at Centennial, you know, has those guys playing at a high level every year. And, you know, these guys are going to be going to, you know, a lot of the Power 5, you know, colleges that, you know, we see on Saturdays. So it's going to be a great game.
I think a lot of coaches, when they see what Matt Logan's doing over at Corona Centennial with the, he has the platoon offenses.
Yes, correct.
He does not care.
He doesn't care.
His first team goes in. It's you know, he has his quarterback, his running backs, and his wings, and the next guy comes in. He's got all his skilled guys, and they're different guys every time.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter where they're at in the game. He will keep platooning fairly every other, and whoever's there at the end, you finish it out, even if it's Mater Dei and you're only down by 3.
Yes.
That's how it is. He has that kind of confidence in his team.
Yeah, you know, the backup quarterback, Carson, I can't, you know, recall his last name, but he broke his collarbone 5 weeks ago. Came back last week from a broken collarbone on his right shoulder, came back and played, and now they will be doing that same platooning that they've always done all season.
The only one who figured it out was Mater Dei, and that's because Rollinson sees these guys a lot. He understands it. Him and Logan are old friends. So, you know, there was a time when Corona Centennial defeated Mater Dei for the CIF championship, I think I don't know, 13, 14, and then next year they beat Bosco in the finals.
Yeah.
You know, so Logan knows what he's doing, platooning. And for some reason, I think that's the only way he can keep people happy out that way.
Absolutely. They have so much talent in that area, in that Corona area. You know, I mean, you see guys who are, if they're not getting that playing time, you know, they might end up, you know, going in the high school transfer portal. That's what we start calling it, the high school transfer portal.
Yeah.
But, so he keeps everybody happy, and but just the fact that they have a second team that can compete with the Mater Deis and the Boscos and the Mission Viejos, that says a lot about their program.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the next bracket. We're going to take this is a big game. Both these teams were off last week. We're talking about Los Alamitos, Long Beach Poly. Long Beach Poly 10-0, Los Al 8-2. Los Alamitos played 2 nationally ranked top 20 teams. Both of these teams, as we mentioned, had a bye last week. Poly's got that 10-0 record. I mean, everybody's singing the praises. They're back, and there's nothing. They beat Mission Viejo, by the way, 35-30.
Right.
That convinced me that there's something going on very, very strong at Poly. It's not
Yes.
going to fall off the cliff like normal.
No, not at all. Steve Barbie came over from Santa Margarita. I thought that was a really interesting hire coming from Santa Margarita.
Yeah, I know.
From St. Margaret's. Excuse me.
Oh, St.
From
Margaret's.
St. Margaret's.
It's even
Exactly.
much different than Santa
Much
Margarita.
different, you know.
Yeah.
So to come
More
to
tame.
to come to Long Beach Poly and instill, you know, everything that he believes in as far as, you know, how the game should be played, and those kids have bought in, and, you know, they're 10-0, and it's going to be a really, really great game. A lot of stars, a lot of guys that are going to big Power 5 schools going head-to-head, so I'm looking forward to seeing that game.
I know Poly's working their way back into what they used to be, because they were the bomb in the
Yes,
old days. It's still
definitely.
an old school term. I mean, they were it. But they've been off the map for a while since Laura left. They haven't really done a ton. I mean, I know Antonio Pierce tried,
Yes.
and a few other guys tried, but they fell short. But for some reason, this team to get off at 10-0 is just something phenomenal. But they are playing Los Alamitos. They
Yes,
did
they
play
are.
2 top 20 teams, and they lost, but you know, it wasn't by much. They really did not. Hurt their chances to get a CI championship or be in still a top 25 team in the country.
Absolutely.
But they'll have to beat Poly, and then they'll have to go through the gauntlet because
Yes, they will.
Bosco or Mater Dei will be waiting. One of them will be waiting.
Definitely. I mean, but Los Alamitos, they have enough firepower. It's going.
yeah.
It's I call it Malachi squared, because you got Malachi Nelson, Malachi Lemon, you know, the quarterback and
Yes.
the receiver.
Yep, USC bound.
Absolutely. They're really, really good. They're some of the top quarterback receivers in the country, so they're going to give Long Beach Poly all they can handle. So Long Beach Poly's going to have to tighten up and slow those two guys down and force Malachi Nelson to throw the ball to some of the other receivers. You know, they're going to have to take away his top target to have a chance.
It's going to be interesting. We talked with Ray Fenton, the head coach over at Los Alamitos, and here's what he had to say.
All right, Coach, here we are in the quarterfinals. You got Long Beach Poly coming up this week. You guys are all lucky enough to get a bye, had a week off, get to look at your opponent and maybe lick your wounds a little bit. What are you expecting this week?
This is why we work so hard to get to this point right here. You're playing a storied program at Long Beach Poly that has the most guys in the NFL than any other high school program in the country. They have incredible amount of pride over there. They're 6.8 miles away, which makes it even just a crosstown rivalry.
Yep.
And it should be a whole lot of fun. We played them in the past, and it's always been an incredible experience for us. And now here we are. Winner goes on, loser goes home, and there's a lot on this game.
This is one of these years where everything's just clicking for you and for Long Beach Poly. Poly, of course, 10-0. Not quite the schedule, though, you guys have played. You guys went out this year, played some state champions and some state contenders from some other states. And, that's what you got to do to improve and play with the big dogs. What was that experience like, Coach, finally getting LoSal out there and getting them on the big map? You guys started out as a top 30 program at the start of the season.
Yeah, it was just, a once-in-a-lifetime experience for some of our kids, most of our kids. They travel all the way to Florida to experience that heat in August, to be on ESPN.
Right.
I mean, I was just so happy for our guys that, most of them aren't going on to play college football. They're not going to have that experience. And to get that experience in high school is something they'll remember for the rest of their lives. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
just
awesome.
crazy. And your team bonds when you travel the country like that.
It really does. We don't have a choice to do that. You spend all that time on that plane, and every second was accounted for over there. And 4 kids in a room or 3 kids in a room, and it was just, again, a great experience for our guys, something in high school that's just is very uncommon. And we think we're an uncommon program, and giving those uncommon experiences is what we want for our kids.
Well, I'll tell you what, your league has improved immensely with the talent. When they realigned the leagues, you got Corona Del Mar in your league now. I mean, you guys really have to be ready every single week. There's no week off. Yeah,
The COVID year that we matched up with Corona Del Mar, and they were on a 17-game winning streak, defending state champs, came in here, and that was a new addition to our league. They'd won the league the year before, and the year before that we had a tie with a Lightning game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, them coming into our league infuses another great program, along with Edison, who's
Yep.
they're in Division I, and they had an incredible season, finishing 9-2, and it's fun. That's what we want. We're a public school league, and we want to play at a high level, and to get 2 public schools in Division I is a great accomplishment for everyone in our league.
Well, it also ups everybody's game. Like I said, you have to be up. Coach, real quick about your team. You must be pleased at your team this year, man. You guys have played almost flawless football, and you got some really big-time players.
Yeah, so, we had some success in the preseason, and we had some things to exploit that we need to get better at. And I really think if we don't front load with that big schedule that we had and had those experiences, we don't win our tough league. I think we needed to be battle tested the way that we were in order to get to where we are right now. So here's another huge game for us, and an outstanding program with Poly. And this is why we built our preseason the way that we did. So we'll be ready for this Friday.
I got to tell you about Ray Fenton, man. This guy's been out here, for the last 12 years, and I've seen him, work his way up the ladder. And this dude obviously knows what he's doing, because he was coaching at smaller schools. And last night I remember him was at Cypress.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if he was at Webb or Fairmont Prep or something. Or he played coaching at a smaller school.
Correct.
Now he's worked his team. He's worked his way up at Los Alamitos. And at one point, he was like 25th in the nation, and got to go on the road, play on ESPN, and they're still playing at that high level. But, it's great when you see a coach's career like Ray just ascend the way it has. Being
Absolutely.
able to watch it close up.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet Coach Fenton. He was actually coaching in Las Vegas. He had a game here in Southern California, and this is when I was early in my coaching career, coaching at Loera High School, and he had came over to Loera, and since his background, with Cypress, and he knew our coaches there, and he used our field to practice, and the discipline that that his team had, like every little detail was followed. So to have that discipline with all the stars and the NIL stuff with Malachi Nelson and Malachi Lemon, all that to keep his team focused. That's an unbelievable job by Coach Fenton. Hats goes off to him.
Well, I give it to him as well by accepting those offers to play with these other schools, Basha and Heritage in Florida. These are top-notch state schools that are champions and runners-up. So he did a lot to up his program. And as you heard him there say in the piece, if they didn't front-load their schedule with this type of talent, they probably would not have won league. Because that league they're in, I'm telling you, that Sunset League is no joke. None. Corona Del Mar, Edison. I mean, let's go down the line. Everybody's great in that league.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and the other thing that I noticed that he talked about is playing against that high level competition
Sure.
gets him ready for the Boscos, the Modern Days, Corona Centennial, everybody that he might be facing in this Division I. So that was a great idea to go out and front load his schedule like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Fenton was good enough. I mean, he's got playoffs coming up against big game against Poly, but he still gave us some time to talk to Malachi Nelson. Malachi Nelson's already going to USC. Great quarterback. He's one of the reasons that Los Alamitos is where they are right now. And we got a chance to talk to Malachi Nelson, and here's what he had to say.
Nelson, let's talk about your season so far, man. Los Alamitos came in, man, ranked really high, and you guys played some big-time schools. They're still both, I think, 2 or 3. I think they're all still ranked in the top 15.
Yeah.
But you guys got ready early this year. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, no, we played, I think that was part of the plan, just to play some solid team. Senior year, we wanted to, make sure we practice and played against quality competition, in that preseason to get us ready for, for that, to make a run in the playoffs. And, that's that time of year. And, our league, we made it through league. We try to play some good teams up there, and we played them, and we did well, and then we ended up losing a couple. But no, it was good to to get that competition in the first couple games.
Well, Coach said it was because you went out early and played those big dogs. It made it not easy, but you knew what you to expect when you're going to look at Edison, Corona Del Mar. Those are big time schools here in SoCal.
It definitely helped us a lot. Getting out there and getting that under our belt kind of thing. And we played on ESPN. A lot of these guys was first time on ESPN, right?
Yeah.
And getting that exposure and that type of hype around that game, and then coming back, and then we took a tough loss against Basha.
It happened. State champ.
Yeah, I think we get them 9 times out of 10, but we ended up giving them that one away. We were up 21-0 in the first quarter. We were ready to roll and had some problems.
It happens.
Yeah, but no, it was good. It was good for us, good for the team. Good for everybody really to get that under our belt.
Well, I think your main goal, besides winning league, is now to get the CIF championship under your belt, and then see what happens down the road from there. But let's talk about Long Beach Poly this week. You got some formidable opponent for you. I don't know how much you know about them, but what do you think?
Yeah, no, we're excited, man. you know, they're doing well this season. I don't think they've played anybody, you know, up to our caliber yet,
Right.
and you know, I think that's going to be a shock for them, you know, early. But you know, we'll see how they are. You know, I think they're a solid opponent. You know, watching film and, you know, seeing, you know, everything they try to do, things they try to hide, and, you know, really trying to, you know, get down to the nitty gritty, you know, because, you know, everybody has secrets and, you know, they all try to hide them, but, you know, trying to expose those, and, you know, we're going to go out there, have a plan, and, you know, they'll have a plan, we'll have a counterattack to that, so we're ready to go. You know, we're excited about that one. They got some, like you said, guys going to play at the next level, you know, some of my buddies over there, so it's going to be exciting.
Talk about being recruited by USC, man. That's unbelievable. You know, not many guys get that call, man.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. You know, it's a blessing to be in this position, you know, that I'm in, and yeah, you know, Coach Riley, and, you know, he's been super great to, you know, to me, not even only me, my family as well, and even when he was at Oklahoma, you know, it felt like a family atmosphere, and, you know, he kind of brought that over here, you know, to LA, and, you know, it made sense, you know, growing up out here, and, you know, we ended up pulling the trigger, and, you know, it feels right. It always has, you know, and I think that's the way it goes. You know, I remember going back to 8th grade, and, you know, I started picking up these offers that were like, you know, telling me, you know, you get to be selfish in this kind of world, you know, and this is the one part of your life where you get to be selfish, and then I ended up committing to Oklahoma, and then, you know, ended up committing to SC when Coach Riley brought his staff over.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's always felt right, and, you know, made sense with him. So.
As you can see, man, the rain, the wind. I mean, I tried to cover that microphone as best I could, man. There was nothing happening there. Yeah. But, you know, the kid, I love this kid. I love Nelson, man. He's
very humble.
Very articulate, very humble. I didn't expect that out of a USC signee. You've seen some of these guys.
Absolutely.
You know, but this kid seems to have his head screwed on straight. And he seems to know where he's going.
No, I mean, his parents have done an unbelievable job keeping him grounded with all the attention and the NIL deals that he has in place, and him going to USC and being right now the top-rated quarterback in the country. He's a really grounded young man, and you know, he showed that, you know, in that interview.
Yeah, we were talking off the camera, and I was asking about his family and everything. He said, it's great. Yep. You know, he's got that good support. And I said, you know, the people that love you now or helped you get here, remember them on your way up, because those are the people you trust.
There's no doubt about it.
You know, there'll be a lot of street agents out there trying to come after you and get your dough, but, you know, your family's going to always do what's right for you first.
Yeah. You know, any of these big-time, you know, high school players, I always talk to them about when I have the opportunity is you need a village around you to help you get to where you need to be. You know, and that it was the same for, you know, my son, you know, Nick Needham, who's now playing for the Miami Dolphins. It really took a village to help him, you know, get him through high school, get him through college, and get him to where he is right now. You know, so it's but he has a strong support staff that's helping him so far.
You got to have that, but yeah, it's no wonder he's the way he is. I was very pleasantly surprised with, you know, he's well thought out, man. He just is. You know, very insightful, and he knows the game. So, all right, let's continue on. Let's go to Division II, and they can take a look at some of these matchups. Again, we're not going through all 14. We're running through about 7 divisions, and we're not doing every team. These are the interesting matchups. Sierra Canyon, Serra. These two guys are in the same stable, league mates. As you can see, Sierra Canyon beat Serra 35-21 in week 7. However, I have a sneaking suspicion there was issues at that time with Serra. I don't think for a minute they had their best foot forward in this game. I think we're going to see a different outcome. That's just my opinion. No, I don't know anything. I'm just telling you, when I see these scores and I know these teams, I have a sneaking suspicion that Serra wasn't at full strength for this one, but I'm not sure about that.
It's going to be a great game. I mean, there's a lot of good football players on that team going head-to-head.
Both teams.
In fact, you know, there's a lot of familiarity. I mean, since they already played each other, it's going to be a lot closer than 35-21. You know, that could swing in Sarah's way. You know, I think it easily be, you know, Serra 35 and Sierra Canyon 21.
Well, you know, we've talked about it even here today. It's hard to beat good teams twice in the same season. And if you think I'm nuts, just look at modern day Bosco. That's your comp. Those two teams are great. They are way better pretty much than everybody else in the area. Maybe Corona Centennial's, you know, just a little step behind, but for the most part, those two, you know, modern day and Bosco play twice a year pretty much. They play in league, but the dude who wins in league usually loses in the finals. Now that's been broken a couple of times by modern day, but for the most part, whoever wins the league regular season loses in the finals, and we've seen that several times with Bosco and Mater Dei, and that's the example we're trying to tell you. Sarah and Sierra Canyon are Bosco and Mater Dei in their own world, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Sarah could pull that one out. I don't think it's going to be 35-21 again.
I'm excited to see that game. If I don't get a chance to see it, just see those scores on Saturday when they come in, and see how your predictions and your insight kind of came. And so it's going to be exciting.
We'll see, man. All right, let's take a look. The next game, I think we're going to Division 4 now. Now, this is very surprising to me. You know, Steve, you know the area very well. There was never a time in my life, I've been at this since 84, 83, that I would ever think that Cypress could beat Milliken. Milliken has like 5,000 student population. Cypress is about 2,800 or thereabouts, something like that, give or take 100. And I just can't believe I'm seeing this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game. You know, Milliken, they do have to face Long Beach Poly
every year.
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely have some athletes, but Cypress, 11-0 team. That tells me that they're coached up well. To be 11-0, you're doing some things right.
They got out of bed. They've been running. They haven't looked back, man. Their head's been on fire the whole time. 11-0, really?
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully Cypress is not overlooking Milliken with their record. But these are 16, 17, 18 year old kids that we're dealing with. You can tell them all you want. Don't overlook them just because of their record. But it's just that human element comes into play. But I think I'm gonna take Cypress over Milliken though.
I don't see why not. I mean, they're playing very well right now. And again, I never thought I'd see a day when Milliken, with a student population that big, would play down. But you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. Like I said, Wygod and his boys at CIF, put together a really good idea by changing the way the playoffs have been, and they're way more competitive than we've ever seen in the past. In the past, it was easy to go through. Some of these games were 70-0, 80-0, and not much there. But now everybody's really got to be ready from out the gate, out the chute, baby. You better be ready to go.
Definitely.
No doubt about it. All right, let's continue on. Go to the next one, next bracket. Let's see where we're going now. We're going to Division 6, Orange and San Juan Hills. And Orange beat Huntington Beach last week, 34-28. San Juan Hills beat Palm Desert, 35-0. San Juan Hills, they're down there in South Orange County, in that area where they're just surrounded by greatness.
There's a lot of talent in South Orange County, just like Laguna Hills.
I mean,
they do a really good job. I mean, for them, to only have won 4 games, that is a down year, definitely, because, I mean, they're normally a 7, 8, 9, 10.
But they're playing everybody. They're playing all the big dogs out there.
That is true.
They're playing they're surrounded with San Clemente. Yeah. They're surrounded by, Laguna Hills. They have, they have the whole Trinity League,
exactly.
Santa Margarita, Mater Dei. They're all in that area.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just nuts.
But, Coach Petros at Orange High School, I mean, year in and year out, he has put a great team on the field. So I'm looking.
But he's cheating, man. He's got Kobe Boykin. That's cheating, man.
Yeah,
Kobe Boykin is a video game.
He's
not
player.
A football player. He's a video game. Have you seen that guy run?
I have.
And he's still got another year to go, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's running all over the place like a madman.
Coach Pedrosa is going to have his team ready to go, and I'm taking them definitely over San Juan Hills.
I'm telling you, man, and I hate to just use one kid, but, I mean, Boykin is just so impressive, man. You give him space, you're in trouble. He's like Tyreek Hill.
Exactly.
He's a cheetah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's his best guy I could describe is he's Tyreek Hill.
He's a smaller version of Reggie Bush for me.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that assessment of that cheetah, man.
No, they're definitely going to have to. I mean, the defense is San Juan Hills defense is going to have to break down and not try to, take a big shot at him, but just try to rally, just slow him down and wait for everybody else. Somebody grab a leg and just wait till his other teammates, come and get him down on the ground. Absolutely.
So low to the ground, man.
Yeah.
Very impressed. So we'll see how that one turns out, but I like your assessment of that ball game. All right, let's continue on. We're going to the Division 7 now. And Mayfair and Claremont are the next group. Mayfair beat Glendora. By the way, Claremont and Glendora, neighboring cities, neighboring towns. Now Mayfair's got to go up there and try to handle them. And then Claremont beats Hart of Newhall. We all know Hart's tradition, man. They're pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I mean, when I think of Hart, they used to throw the ball all over the place.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it was great.
always had really good quarterbacks. So I mean, it's going to be. I mean, that Mayfair. I like Mayfair in this matchup.
Mayfair's nuts, man. I'll tell you right now. We talked with Coach Derek Bedell. We ran into him during practice. Matter of fact, Mayfair had to move their practice to Bosco because the field situation, the rain.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And, Bosco's got that turf, no big deal, right? Went out there.
Exactly.
By the time I got out, the rain had just stopped, man. Enough to do the interview, and then we were getting out, and we took off. But it was also seeing Woody Grayson there. By the way, we have an interview there with Coach Derek Bedell from Mayfair High talking about the game up and coming.
All right, Coach, nice game last week, man. Nothing like an opening round overtime ball game, 1-point win for you. But, hey, it's always great to play a tight one early because it wakes your team up, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it does. I thought we played really good. Glendor's a really good football program, and they did some things offensively that put us in a bind. But I think for us offensively, our ability to run the football really played into our win. So it was nice to get the win. Going to overtime was made it a little bit more special, I guess.
Yeah, well, again, it was a tight ball game. It builds character, and I'm sure this week when you talk to the kids, they felt that.
Yeah, we were ready to go. I mean, we were ready to go last Friday, and I think that getting into a tight ball game like that really prepares us for what's left in the rest of the Division 7 playoffs.
Now this week, you got your stablemate up, or their stablemate, their neighbor, Claremont.
Yep.
And you got to face them now. What do you think?
Yeah, they're a good football program. They came off a nice win on Saturday night versus Hart. They played very well. Hart had a chance late in the game to beat them, but they played really well. They're a good football program. They like to run the football. They're a little bit like us. Now they're gonna try and run the football. Their quarterback's really a good football player, and 89 junior defensive end they have. Tight end is special.
Well, it's going to be a good ball game, I'm sure. Again, you had a short week to look at this stuff, but hey, you both, it's the same thing for them too. To look at you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the one advantage that we had is we get an extra day of rest. Yeah. They're playing on a Saturday night, and we're at home watching them play on YouTube. So I think that day of rest may play significant into the game. But like I said, they're a good football program, and Coach Heil will have them ready to go.
Yeah, and they're young, so they recover quick. You know that.
Absolutely.
It's not like the NFL.
No,
Thursday night
absolutely.
after Sunday. So, all right, Coach. Well, listen, man. You obviously have the magic formula. You guys are always doing well, and you're back in the thick of it. You're in the quarterfinals once again, and.
All right. Anyways, Coach Bedell, man, he's got a good formula right now. I mean, he's been to the semifinals, the finals before, but I mean, it's hard to sustain that. It's sometimes you can get there and get lucky, and you never get another sniff. But he's routinely got that Mayfair program fired up and going.
No, I mean, just listen to the interview. I mean, he's locked in, very
Energetic
focused.
dude,
Yeah, very focused. I know he has his team, ready to play this Friday night. So I'm taking Mayfair in that matchup right there.
Yeah, he mentioned that they're similar teams, but that last week is last week and this week is this week, and I said they're similar teams, but they got to the next round, and you had an overtime game. So,
Wow.
But again, we're going to hear from Western right now too. They had a very close one this week, but when you have a close game, a shave, man, where it's a close shave, like a 1-point win or whatever, or overtime game, and you got the final score. I mean, whew, that wakes you up. It's a cold slap in the face.
It definitely does, but it also teaches your team how to win those close games and not to be nervous at the end. Like, okay, hey, we were in this situation before, we can do it again. So, your kids won't panic at the end of the game. So that's a great lesson to learn. By the way, I ran into Woody Grayson Sr. Woody Grayson has been a coach in the Southeast area for probably 50 years now. I mean, just a great dude, and it was really good seeing Woody Grayson Sr. His kid was a coach too here in the southern section. All right, let's continue on. Now we're going to go to Western High and look at what happened with Western. Western had a 21-20 ball game. Had to go for 2 to win the game. They scored. They could have kicked an extra point and win it overtime, but they decided not to. Nice. They beat Buena of Ventura 21-20. King beat Troy 40-21, and now you see the matchup. Let's talk about King first. King is in the eastern Riverside County, and those guys are used to playing the likes of Santiago, Norco, and Corona Centennial. Absolutely.
So I really, to be honest with you, I don't think that King is afraid of too much.
No, not at all. I mean, when you're going through that gauntlet out there,
Yes, sir.
and the old, they call it the Big Eight, or I'm not
It's,
sure.
it's upper now. It's upper 4 and lower 4.
Oh, okay.
They had to split it up, man. They did.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing against some of that competition, I mean, you're not worried about anybody else on your schedule or anybody in the playoffs. So I mean, I know they're going to be ready to go against Western.
Oh, they'll be ready. Now, Western, by contrast, 21-20 over Ventura. This was that game. It was good they finally had a game like that, because I'll tell you, other than losing one game all season, and that was the Cypress, who's still undefeated, by the way.
That is correct.
Having a blood, I told one of the kids, you guys got a bloody nose. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
They socked you. You guys woke up in time to win the game, and now you better keep that look, that broken
Exactly.
nose look, the rest of the season, and carry that with you, because that'll happen again if you don't watch it.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the Western program. I mean, Dan Davidson's a great friend of mine. We worked together at Low Arrow High School, and I actually trained his quarterback, Anthony Luna.
He's good.
He's really
all
good.
those kids are good. Very poised kid.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to work with him the last 2 years, and everything that we've been working on, he has definitely translated, to games, and it's exciting to see him have that much success. And I'm happy for Dan Davidson and his program. So I mean, he's going to have them ready to go.
Absolutely. Okay, we talked with Coach Davidson and asked him about last week's game and the upcoming game against King.
And tell me about the game.
It was a great game. We had a lot of respect for Buena. They're very well coached. They put you in a lot of sets. Big line, 6'3", 220-pound quarterback that we knew was going to run. Then they have some outside guys. Number 11 is an incredible wide receiver. And so we knew it was going to be a tough game, and we're really proud of the guys, how they came back and fought. And the game went down to kind of how we thought it would.
Yeah, it was a great ball game. Now let's talk about King this week. King's in. They were in that what was it? That 8 last year was whatever it was.
Yeah,
the grade 8.
Yeah, the grade 8. The big. It's like a Big West out there
Yeah.
with all the stuff. And they're fast. They're athletic. Have talent all over the place. They play 2 quarterbacks, a lefty and a righty. Got to get prepared for both of them. That's never fun. All kinds of skills there. Where number 18 is a freshman wide receiver. It's unreal. Speed, number 7, number 4, speed in the slots, running back. They move them around, triple option. So not only do they spread you out 5 wide, then they come to do triple option, and then they go 5 wide to one side, 4 wide with a guy in motion. So they put you in a bind. They're trying to, basically exploit their speed and their talent. That's what they're doing.
That's Corona Centennial and Norco country out there, where they've been in their leagues, and they have to do fancy stuff to get over on those guys because of the talent level. But you guys have had a great season, Coach, and I'm sure you guys are going to be ready for King.
Yeah, I think you're right, too. I think they know out there that you have to find different ways to move the ball, and they do a creative job. I mean, the coaching staff is doing a great job for them. And, I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of our season. When we lost to Cypress, we didn't know they weren't going to lose a game.
Yeah.
But
still undefeated.
Yes, I would like to perform a little bit better. Luna banged up and stuff, but what I'll say about our guys is that this is what we expect. We expect for us to come out and perform. And when I got here, and you started talking to me early on, we came here at Division 13, went to 12, 11, 9. Now we're in 7, and
You've been moving up.
winning a game, and we just want to keep pushing the envelope to see how far we can take this.
Davidson, man, he's from another time and place, man.
No.
He's one of these guys that he's not looking to be the next Vince Lombardi in the NFL. He's not trying to climb, so he's not using anybody. He's a guy that's in the neighborhood, and he's going to stay there. He's having a career. He's having a good time. He's enjoying his life. He's happy. And that's what I see. Every time I talk to Dan, he's always in a good mood, and I think those kind of guys are special, and they're very much needed today with these kids, man.
No, definitely. I mean, I had the opportunity to be really up close and personal with them this year. I was volunteering at my old high school, Santa Ana Valley High School, which is in the in the Orange League. We had to play Western this year, and it was. We were outmatched.
It was humbling.
we were definitely outmatched. But hey, quick shout out to Santa Ana Valley High School and Coach Macias. They won last week, or we won last week against Victor Valley 3-0. So
that was it?
3-0.
Holy, how did I miss that score?
But we're in the second round. I think it's the first time since 1995 that Santa Ana Valley been in the second round. So I'm excited, for the game this week. But back to Western, they're going to be ready to go. But they have a tough challenge with all those athletes that MLK is going to bring up.
So I got to talk with a lot of their athletes, especially the Faulkner brothers. Have you met those guys?
I have. Definitely have.
You're going to meet them right now. Anyways, we talked to a lot of the kids about the King game. Just got some sound bites from them. Let's take a look.
Doing that game.
They're fast, physical, so we just gotta come for the challenge.
Yeah, King is a very strong, athletic team. They got a lot of, good players. I just feel like we all just need to get prepared and be disciplined and get prepared every day until the day comes.
The run game's pretty good, and big quarterback, good running back, good receiver. We've been preparing for that, so I think we're good on that.
They're pretty bigger. They're much bigger, faster. Their linebackers are pretty good. They're way better. They all flow good.
Yes, sir. They're very athletic, very fast. We just got to come and be disciplined and overpower them.
Faulkner's assessment, man. We just got to come in, play hard, play fast, and overpower them.
That's it.
I mean, but these Faulkner kids, Drew and Joshua, what a tandem. It was great, talking to them and asking them about, one's big and one's small, and then we got into who's the fastest, who's the quickest, but everybody in the room had a comment. Everybody was better than everybody.
Exactly.
DeMarcus Lawson was in there talking trash. Everybody was
wow.
just having a good time after we were done with the interviews, and I really enjoyed hanging out with those guys. And we'll see what happens this week, man. It's a tough game, but Western's already been to a state game.
Yes, they have.
They've had a national champion quarterback who threw for the most yards in a season of anybody in the country. Western, really? But yeah really.
Yeah.
So they've had some fantastic stuff going on over there, and we're looking forward to seeing the rest of it. Let's finish out what we have left, Larry. What do we have next? Norwalk, Division 10, right? All right, so Norwalk's got Muir this week, and don't let that 5-6 record on Muir fool you. They've played a heck of a schedule. They didn't have any Modern Days or Boscos on there, but they don't need to.
Right.
They're a smaller school. But they have a lot of history, John Muir does.
Yeah, John Muir out of Pasadena.
Heck yeah. They have a lot of USC players were all going to Muir back in the day, weren't they?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, Curtis Conway and those guys.
Heck yeah. So we see Muir 28-21 over Tustin. Okay, Tustin didn't have the greatest year this year, but they're competitive. And there you see the score. Norwalk beat Rio Hondo Prep in a nail-biter, 28-27. Wow. Fantastic game. We talked with Coach Ruben Guerrero about the game last week, and he talks about his up-and-coming opponent in Muir.
All right, Coach. Capped off a pretty good season. Now you're in the playoffs, man. Last week was a heart stopper. Tell us about that game with Rio Hondo Prep.
Wow, it was a kind of a little bit of a roller coaster. We jumped out on them, and then they started figuring some things out. And they started moving the ball really well. They made some really good adjustments, and they made a real game of it. And we had to hold on, and we had to come through at the very end there. And it was a wild ride.
Yeah, I tell you, man, you get in these playoff games, anything can happen, and it's hard because you really don't know the teams you're facing in the first round. Not really. You had a couple days to get to know them well, and so you just never know about those games. Now, this week you're going to play Muir, and Muir's got tradition. They got some SAB titles. They've had a lot of great players in the past, but you got them this week. What do you know about them?
Very tough team, very athletic, and so what we're going to have to do is just kind of stick to what we do best and what we've been doing all year. Our defense has been getting progressively better throughout the year, and then, of course, our ground and pound run game. We need to basically just kind of stick to what we've been doing. But they are very tough, very athletic, and it's a very tough team. It'll be a challenge, to say the least.
Now, Coach, your team is basically ground-oriented. You guys got 3,800 yards so far. That's in 11 games, I think. So that's a lot of yards. You got two tailbacks. One gets about 150 yards a game. The other one gets 145. Yeah. They're bookends. They're identical. They're twins.
Yes.
Talk about your offense, man, because that's something that I was very impressed with when I came down and saw one of your games earlier this year.
Well,
Rancho.
David Herrera and Michael Mueller have really been working hard. And, they kind of feed off each other, and they push each other. And that's that's a real special thing to see. They've carried us throughout this year, but our offense, is something that we take a lot of pride in. We just want to, like you said, we're just run oriented. There's not a lot of guessing going on. We're just gonna ground and pound, and but the kids take a lot of pride in it. It's been very successful for us. We, like you said, you pointed out the yards that we've racked up and the points that we've scored this year, and it's just a real treat to see the kids take ownership of it, take pride in it, and it's been a lot of fun this year.
Well, with everybody throwing the ball now, it's great to see a team that's run-oriented. I haven't seen a team run as much as you have since much as your team does since Dan Markham with Bloomington. We talked about the wing tee offense he ran, and they ran that thing with perfection. Like a Lombardi sweep.
No, of course, and that's what that's what we aspire to do, is just run this as best as we can, as sharp as we can, and as polished as we can. And when we're able to move the ball, we're very successful. And that's like I said, the kids take pride in it, and we as coaches, we really appreciate their efforts.
Guerrero. Okay, this is Guerrero's, I think, second year, gets a new stadium.
Very nice stadium.
Goes 10-1 now. Should be 11-0, but he's 10-1, going into the second round of the playoffs. It doesn't happen in Norwalk very often, man.
No.
Got to give him his love. He's a graduate, I believe, of Norwalk for, I think, 95 or something like that.
I mean, to win 10 games, they now know how to win. They know how to win. His kids know how to win close games, and keep their foot on the gas, and they don't play down to the level of their competition. They, like Coach talked about, they play at their level. They're a ground and pound team. There's not a lot of flash, but they do a great job, to end up with a 10-1 record and have that two-headed monster, those running backs they have.
Yeah, they got a tandem now. I don't know if you can hear all the interview, but they got Herrera. I think he averages 150 yards a game. And they got Mueller, the other back. He averages 145 yards a game, and they average like 350 on the ground. They got like 12 running backs. Everybody's got a 10-yard average per carry. This is Dan Markham's offense. I remember calling the CIF championship game La Mirada Bloomington.
Wow.
And Dan Markham's Bloomington team set national records in scoring, yardage, and they didn't just set records. They annihilated records. I mean, you see those records only on places like Mars and stuff. You didn't see them here on Earth, but they scorched it, man. And they're CIF champs, and they had Cheyenne Caldwell and Greg Oliver, that tandem running back. One was a huge guy like Colin Bryant of the Rams, one of the big old dude, like a bodybuilder. And then Oliver was just a sleek dude, man. But, once they got past the line, good luck finding them.
Yeah. One thing I take away from, Norwalk's success is time of possession. Because, I mean, with their running the ball that well, they're going to have the ball. That means, the other team that they're playing, is it John Muir? Or who are they playing?
Who's that, Norwalk?
Norwalk.
Yeah, they've got Muir.
They got Muir. So, I mean, they have a lot of athletes on the other side. They're going to be on the sideline for a while if Norwalk can control the ball.
They run beautifully. They average like 8 or 9 yards a carry. I mean, that's just what's going on.
Definitely.
Now, they're not getting that every time, but that means they're getting 15 and 20-yard runs. As you saw in the video there, they had a kid, I don't know how far, he must have went about 60 yards on that carry against El Rancho.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was in-line play. He stepped over one guy and took off, man. Step over the bodies and keep going. But a fantastic game. All right, let's finish this out now. What do we have left, Larry? We got we're going to go We're going to go Division 11, Westminster, Rim of the World. We're calling this the Snow Bowl. It's been snowing all week up there. It's probably snowing right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever been up there to see a game?
I have.
My Lord, I was up there one time, and I'm not kidding you. They had the guys moving the snow blowers, or they had the Zamboni, and they're moving all the snow off the field, man. I mean, it was fantastic. I would love to play in something like that, but I don't know if I want to sit and watch it because it's so freezing. You know,
I mean, the Westminster kids, they got to get ready for the playing that cold. I mean, they're 10-1. Yep. Again, they know how to win games, but they're not used to playing in that type of weather. They're gonna have to take care of the ball and hold on to it because it's gonna be cold with the rain.
The World's gonna win this game, dude. They got that home field. They got that snow field advantage.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah, with the rain we had here, last couple of days here in Southern California, there's a lot of snow up on the mountain, so they're gonna have to get ready for it.
All right, now let's real quick. Let's go 3,000 miles northeast. Semifinal: Skowhegan 9-2, Falmouth 8-3. Skowhegan beat Lawrence last week 66-48. Falmouth beat Coney 35-28. These are our homies from the East Coast here, man.
I was wondering. I'm like, I've never heard of these schools.
I know. Hey, they don't normally have this kind of success, and there's a whole story behind it. But we said we'd follow up till we couldn't, and they're still in the playoffs. Go Skowhegan, man! All right. That's enough of that nonsense. But we appreciate those guys for reaching out. Hey, real quick, we want to thank our sponsors before we go off the air. We got a couple minutes, and would like to thank the following. Thank you, Larry, for pulling this up. Lighthouse Escrow. One of our big sponsors here, man. They take care of us like no other. Continuing on, we got Life Design and Financial Insurance. This is Scott Warner's company. Scott Warner, big-time basketball player, says he could beat Michael Jordan if he was in his prime, when Jordan was in his prime, and I believe him. Continuing on to Forest Realty. Man, real estate's going a little south right now, but we hope Dan's doing okay.
Exactly.
We got Level Up, the Cycle House. Level Up, man. Become a 10 if you're 8, 6, 7, whatever, but you got to go to Level Up to work yourself up to a 10. Modern Woodman. We love these people, the Fraternal Financial. These people are fantastic, man. They take care of us also. Next Gen Heating and Plumbing. We're certainly happy to have them. They are part of Ream. And Ream does a good job as we see Ream coming up here. A new degree of comfort. They have a ton of products for you, but everybody has Ream products. And Rock and Brews, of course, the restaurant. We'll be back there on the 30th of November. And Suzuki. Wow. Everybody loves Suzuki, man. Everybody probably had one at one time. And that'll round up our sponsorship. We really appreciate it. Steve, I got to thank you for sitting in tonight. You know, you're knowledgeable. Let's talk about what you do now. You're quarterback coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just getting ready for my NFL draft prep coming up here in January. I'm going to be training Hendon Hooker for the draft.
Wow.
I'm actually flying out to Knoxville. It's senior day on Saturday.
You're flying out tomorrow?
Flying out tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. So, I'm definitely going to have some high school camps around him training out here, for the draft. So they'll get a chance to meet him and see some of his workout. And he's going to come out and speak to the quarterbacks, But I'm liking this seat. Bob Gibson, he's in trouble.
Yeah, he is
in trouble.
I always told him, I said, Steve ain't going to give up the seat. Steve, you're with Armed and Dangerous. That's your company.
Yep.
He trains quarterbers, and you have a lot in the NFL, right? You have a ton of guys right now.
Yeah, 19 years of doing it.
Yeah.
I've been very, very fortunate to, from Russell Wilson to Nick Foles to Cody Kessler and Jordan Love. So, I feel like I found a blueprint.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to passing on to this next generation of quarterbacks.
Steve Calhoun of Armed and Dangerous. Is that a .com at the end of that?
ArmedandDangerousFootball.com.
Yeah, just he has camps. So if you're interested in camps, it's just learning football. It's just basic stuff. But again, but also he does do the high school kids, and it's great to have somebody who's also a coach that understands the positions, just like Malachi, is that what it is?
Malachi.
Why were you telling me it was Malachi earlier? How dare you, man? I'm sorry about that, Nelson. But anyways, but seriously, you do a fantastic job, and it's great to have somebody with your knowledge. You've got to get you back in here and talk about
Definitely.
the quarterbacks at the end of the season.
Yes.
We got a lot here in Southern California.
We do.
They're all going big time, and you know who they are. So,
yes,
we've really got to get you back and talk about that.
No.
Well, that's about all the time we have today. Be looking forward to, in a couple of weeks, talking to you about the CIF finals, getting ready for state. We are going to have a night of champions, going to invite a lot of CIF champions out to Rock and Brew and celebrate their victories and let them celebrate and with all the glory they deserve, man.
Absolutely.
They got to the tops. So I'd like to say on behalf of Steve Calhoun, I'm Rich Estrella, going to say so long from you here from Prep Sports Night Live. See you in a couple of weeks. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, everybody.